You don't know what's out there.
That's why I would go.
Hi, and welcome back to Wild Dream, where we give you the freshest takes on the latest movies. My name is David.
And my name is Daniel.
And we are here for a very special 100th episode! Keep going, yeah! This is for editing. This is for editing purposes. Fucking show off.
How many, how many episodes?
It's somewhere around like between 99 and 101.
99, 101. Wait, you mean 100 episodes? Yeah! Woo! Yeah, we're doing it. Play all the drops at once.
Hey, settle down, okay?
Play all the drops at once.
Hey, settle down, okay?
I'm doing the best at this.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
100 episodes.
100 episodes. When we first started this podcast, we were just...
When we first started this podcast, we said 100 and we're done. 100 and it's over.
And that's it. When we first started this podcast, we were just two young bucks with a dream. I'm getting emotional.
What kind of dream?
I dream a dream of time gone by.
I set you up for a wild dream, but I guess you didn't want to fucking...
Oh, like
the name of the show?
the show.
Like the name of the fucking show?
Wild Dream is something that started as an idea. To get in a TED Talk for a second. But what it has become is just an absolute behemoth of movie and film review culture. Many people are talking about it. It's actually one of the biggest podcasts that's ever been made. A lot of people have now learned how to decide if a movie is worth seeing or not. They just go, oh, let me just check out the latest Wild Dream episode. That'll give me a good hint. It's crazy. 100 episodes in, we finally did it. How you feeling, Dave?
I feel like it's been 99 too many.
Hey,
Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's a milestone for sure. I mean, especially like if you don't count our April Fool's episodes or our bonus episodes, you know, we're already a little bit over 100 quote unquote episodes, 100 uploads.
Yeah.
But 100 actual reviews, 100 reviews. This is our 100th episode. Is this counting our lost episode as well?
I don't think I did count it as that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we've been saving this movie for the 100th episode for a couple of weeks now. We actually have an episode coming out next week. So for those of you who thought we were canceling this podcast, potentially, we have a minimum guaranteed 101 episodes. But we were saving this one for the 100th episode. Why? Because we just saw Friendship, which is a feature-length A24 movie starring Tim Robinson. If you don't know who Tim Robinson is, he is a comedian, primarily a sketch comedy artist, who Dan and I have been a big fan of for a very long time. And if you remember the early stages of this podcast, our entire soundboard was just clips from I Think You Should Leave, the TV show, Tim Robinson's sketch comedy TV show. We didn't even have our own soundboard. We just found one online that was just his quotes as our entire soundboard. So that's how big of fans we are. I remember we watched his episode on the show Characters a long time ago, and then we're not surprised when he got an offer to do a sketch comedy show. Obviously, he's been a writer on SNL as well. Now, with all that said, this movie is not written or directed by Tim Robinson. So I think that's important to mention off the top. This isn't a Tim Robinson movie.
Yes, that's what made this movie kind of mysterious in a way of how to go into it, because from the, I guess, promo and the trailer for the movie, it seemed to have that like Tim Robinson vibe to it.
Yeah.
But not completely. And then yeah, it's like, oh well, it's not written by him, it's not directed by him, but he's the main character along with Paul Rudd. It seems, it's like, okay. And you get a bunch of different stuff that's like, oh, it's like I Love You Man, but with blah blah blah. And I'm like, are they only saying that because
it's Paul Rudd,
Rudd's in it? I'm like, but I think that's what made the result of the movie so interesting, is because I didn't know what to expect. And yet after seeing the movie, it's not at all what I imagined it to be.
I agree. I think that there's so much of this movie that's good, like, not just because of Tim Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
I remember like seeing quotes saying like this movie feels like a feature length I Think You Should Leave sketch. And to me, it didn't really feel quite like that. What it felt more like was a feature length A24 movie with a character from I Think You Should Leave in it.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
it's the thing about I Think You Should Leave is that everyone is kind of weird and does weird shit. Like there's like 3 straight men in every sketch and then 4 comedic actors. You know what I'm saying? So there's more absurdism in those sketches, whereas this is like there's only one insane person.
I think that is what, like, the movie, something I really want to give it props for is this movie feels so singular to me. I cannot think of another movie, at least right now, without thinking too hard about it, like this. And because it takes the idea, kind of like what you were saying, if we take off the wall, batshit insane, crazy person like one of these people that Tim Robinson plays in a I Think You Should Leave sketch, but we put him into a real world with real world consequences where no one's as zany or cuckoo as him, and they treat him as a real person instead of going along with anything for the convenience of the bit, then what does that look like? And it's kind of horrifying. Like, there was a legitimate sinister tone to this movie, not all the time, but like most of the time to me.
Yeah.
And it really it really does tap into some legitimate social anxiety fears and worries that I have as a person.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought about was it was like I've seen this girl who does this sketch on Instagram, and she has a couple different versions of it, but essentially the sketch is what my anxiety tells me will happen if blank. Right? So like she'll do a sketch like what my anxiety tells me will happen if I go to order at a restaurant like a Subway. And it's just like she'll walk up and someone will go, get the fuck in the back of the line, dumbass. If you've never been to a restaurant, you don't know how to order. She's like, I'm so sorry. I know. They're like, get to the back. They're like, you're not special. You're not special.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I follow her too. She's great.
And so she does a lot of that stuff that's like, she like I think this movie does a lot of that too. Like it personifies a lot of aspects of anxiety. It's like, imagine if like how you like when you go into a situation, it's almost worse after the fact because you're like, was I really awkward there? Or did I say the wrong thing? And it's like, yes, like this character, the answer is yes, you did. You did make things awkward. You did do the wrong thing. And like the reason why I say it feels like this, like a character from one of those sketches put into this is because one of the best things about the movie is it does drive a certain level of anxiety for me in a really good way because most of the characters are being totally serious, and this one character isn't. And because of that, it feels like I'm really hoping for him to not fuck everything up in every single scene. And then he does.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know he's going to. I know he's not going to be normal and make things better. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like Tim Robinson saying for I Think You Should Leave, like one of the things, like the reason why he called the show that was because he was like, a lot of these sketches, like the idea is that there is a person who just keeps making things worse every moment that he can. They just keep making things worse every time. And that really is like the heart and soul of that show. And so I think that the person who wrote this movie has a long career in personification projects. Like a lot of their like stuff that they've done before is where you take something like an anxiety or fear or a stereotype or whatever, and it gets personified into something else that they've done really well with that in the past. So I think that that's what their goal was. Like, I'm not trying to like read too much into, a movie that's, comedic or whatever, but it seems like that was like a focal point. It was like exactly what you said, like social anxiety. Like what if the worst thing that we think we could have done or that could happen. Like, what if this happened? And that all of it does.
Yeah. I think, it's the style of this film too is so disjointed, and it's not like Memento, or it's not like it's actually not a linear movie.
Yeah, it's not Pulp Fiction.
But yeah, exactly. But at the same time, it's
It's not irreversible.
dream.
It's not. Sorry, I was just gonna just go through all the movies that are.
It's kind of like a fever dream a little bit. It's like it's weird how it just pops in and out of certain scenes, and it's just really wild. And sometimes these scenes have a very sinister, anxiety-inducing tone, and then sometimes they have a genuinely, intentionally comedic tone, and it just it feels very singular. I can't think of other movies like this, and I enjoyed it. I should say that. I know we're talking about it like more.
Critically, giving general opinions. Yeah,
but I did enjoy it, and I'm glad it was something that I didn't expect either way.
Yeah,
and I think that you're right that like one of my biggest takeaways is that it felt like Tim Robinson. I guess a little bit of Paul Rudd, but like Tim Robinson is like the only one who's doing an "I Think You Should Leave" sketch, and no one else is.
Yeah,
and that's what.
But even a lot of Paul Rudd just seems like Paul Rudd in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
like,
the same way that he is like he doesn't even go as goofy as like Wet Hot American Summer, even.
Right.
But he still has that kind of goofiness to him. But at the same time, the movie does have a shared level of surrealism,
yeah,
like the Marvel thing. Like everyone calls
it Marvel movies the Marvel.
The Marvel. There's a new Marvel out. So it's like there's weird little, there's just weird little odd things like that.
Yeah.
Where everyone in the universe shares it, and it is an actual part of surrealism. So, and the movie plays with your mind a little bit.
It really does. And I think that one of the things that, like a good example of what we mean by like this, it's a linear story, but it's still like not perfectly structured, is like there's no real concept of time, of the passage of time for this movie. Mm-hmm. Like it's not clear if this movie takes place over the course of 3 days or 3 months.
Yeah.
Like you can't really tell, like it's really like it's so isolated, and even like I'm sure they probably do mention where they're at, but I don't remember where this takes place. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of aspects like that. I think that, even though obviously we said this movie is not written or directed by Tim Robinson, that he had influence on so many aspects of this movie, especially his character, because his character is so much a Tim Robinson character and has just weird quirks and stuff, like the clothes thing, which I think we'll get to in spoiler talk. It's not like really a spoiler, but like just so many aspects of his character are so specific.
Yeah.
Whereas every other character is like normal.
And he's like, again, he's the main character, but the movie does a great job of, like, at least to me, of giving you small isolated moments where you're rooting for him, and then sometimes larger, more outside perspective looking, larger picture moments where you're absolutely not rooting for him.
Yeah.
Because he crosses lines way too often. And so he's such an interesting character in that way, because there are times where you feel sympathy, and then there are times where you want him to, or like you believe he should fail. Or if he doesn't have the repercussions of his actions, then it's not just. And it's because he steps into genuinely sociopathic behavior. So, but yeah, it's funny because the movie is just about, like, what is the movie just about? It's like, it's just about a guy who tries to make a friendship, and then a snowball effect happens in his life because he doesn't mesh well with people, that his entire life gets ruined. It's like, it's so simple. It's just so simple. And the way that the movie is structured and shot and told, the way that the story is told it's just so strange. It doesn't world build a whole lot because it doesn't have to. It's so zoomed in. Like, it's just really zoomed in. It is all about this guy, character study, and his relationships with other people. Yeah.
I mean, it is, while it is primarily a comedy, and there are a lot of comedic aspects, there are some scary parts of this movie. And like you said, I think it's just a really good character-driven movie.
Yeah.
You know, like more so than a plot driven movie.
Yeah, so it is funny because it does make you laugh at what you're hoping for with someone like Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd in the cast, but it also leaves you a little, I guess, nervous.
Yeah.
Like nervous, a little anxious, and in a well like dilated way. Like it's just very, or I meant in a well dialed in way. Like they choose to hit on certain things that anyone of any background can relate to, even though the character himself is so fucking outlandishly ridiculous. It's real human stuff that it makes you think about that you completely share with other humans.
Yeah.
And our kind of fears of social anxiety. And like you said, did I say that the wrong way last night? Did I do this? Did I? And I'm excited to talk about the movie too, and spoiler talk, because there was a specific theme that is a smaller part of that larger theme that I really connected to. And I was like, dude, this is just weird. I don't know. Like, it's so weird how it's making me think and feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, you know, I think one of the best elements of the movie, I think one that you touched on was the moments where you feel genuine sympathy for him. Like the moments where you're just like, man, I really like it's not even like, oh, I want him to actually connect with these people in the movie that he wants to connect with. It's almost like I wish he could just meet another fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel that way. Like, even like, you know, some of my friends are the weirdest fuckers I know. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I think of like Dan and Mo, I'm like, thank God they're friends. Mm-hmm. Because like, and I know that obviously you guys have a lot of friends outside of each other, but I'm like, but you guys are the most yourselves together, I think.
Yeah.
And like, you know, one of the things that, you know, I heard, you know, recently it was like, you know, being in a relationship, like a good relationship means not being afraid to be your worst self. You know, it's like, yeah, like I get that, you know, to a certain degree. And I think that that's something that I was like feeling for this guy. I was just like, you know, I think we've all been in situations where we feel like I want to connect with these people so much. I just need to change who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this guy just changed in the wrong way, you know what I'm saying? And to the degree where it becomes existential, where it's like, well, how, like there are moments where he's like, just be normal. And then, but you can tell it's like for him, he doesn't even know what his normal is.
Yeah. He has
like,
no
he doesn't
base.
know who he is because he doesn't socialize enough to know who he is, you know? So it's like, I'm so grateful. It made me grateful for the friendships I do have. But then also it made me like, you know, look at like how difficult it has been to make new friends in Colorado or whatever, and be like, yeah, I mean, there are reasons for that too. And, you know, and I not that, you know, I'm too fucking weird for, you know, whatever. There's a lot of reasons, but I felt for this character from that perspective alone of it is hard to make friends as an adult, and it is really hard to make friends as an adult man.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for spoiler free talk. I'm ready to dive into this one. What do you think, Dave?
I'm ready to get into it.
Fuck, they're trying to make it look fake! God damn it!
You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why?
Did you know that everyone dies? And
I cannot talk about it without crying.
but
I'm not worried about it! I'm not worried about any of this! There's worse shit on the local news!
plus
I'll kill you.
With all due respect, it worked 150 times.
spoiler alert.
This is maybe the shortest synopsis we've ever had in the history of the podcast, which is special because it's the
Is by Cumshot.
because it's like it's the 100th episode. So here we go. Friendship is about a suburban dad who falls hard for his charismatic new neighbor. There you go. It's that easy. It's that simple.
Exactly!
I just want to say for this character, dude,
Your family hates you! Only I love you!
he's just so worried because he's out here like,
I'm not popular at all.
you know, and I worry about him.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm not worried about him. I mean, what the hell, dude? What the hell?
Don't do the voice.
Okay, I won't do the voice. Is this good? Is this good content?
We're going to do our entire review with the drops.
I want that one so bad.
Dave, you have a challenging road ahead of you because you are the king of the rundown, and this is a hard movie to kind of give a rundown for.
I'm not in trouble at all.
I know exactly what I'm going to do. The rundown.
It's time for the rundown.
What's a whammy bar? Is it for making that noise or not?
I believe it is. It's supposed to make the pitch a little modulated, so it goes. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like
I don't play
actually
guitar,
for that, or if it was like an antenna that they just did that and they found out it made that noise. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like what was the original intended
Yeah.
use? Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? So this movie is about Tim Robinson, whose name in the movie is
His name is the exact same amount of syllables as his real name. It is Craig Waterman.
Craig Waterman.
Tim Robinson, Craig Waterman.
And Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd is Austin. Last name something with a C.
Something with a C.
But yes.
Come. Like
Dude,
cum shot?
get your mind guy together.
Okay.
Wait a minute. 100 episodes in, and we're just now saying the same thing at the same time?
Craig is told by his wife, who has recently survived cancer, that he should introduce himself to their new neighbor, even though they're trying to sell their house, but to introduce himself to his new neighbor because, he could use some friends. So that he, the running thing that happens in the movie throughout the movie is that the mailman always delivers the package to the wrong house. So he always has to go over there. And the first time he goes over there is when they first meet. And at first, things are going kind of great. He invites him over for drinks. They talk a little bit, and he's really like enthralled by this guy because he's really cool and he's, different, and he does a lot of cool stuff. And like, let's go on this cool adventure together where they go through the sewers of, the town that they're living in, and it leads to a back entrance for City Hall, and they just hang around City Hall as like a cool little adventure. And he's like, you should come see my band. He's like, of course you're in a band, dude, because you're freaking cool, right? This is all Craig, interacting with Austin. He's a weatherman, and he's got a band, and he goes to go see his band live. He's like, this guy's fucking cool. And he's like, I've always wanted to play drums, but I'm too afraid. He's like, you should, bro, because you know what? You just play a little bit and you get better every day, and we'll jam together, So he's like really, really looking up to this guy. Like
he's got a new love for life.
Yeah, get a new love for life. He's finding himself like feeling more confident, feeling like, he's got a friend,
Yeah.
And it's nice. Then things take a bit of a turn when Austin invites him over to hang out with him and some other guys, some of Austin's friends. And while they're hanging out, this part I think is fucking weird because obviously if you do this, your friend group is gonna have something happen where you're gonna be mad at each other. But they decide to box. They're like just doing like play boxing, where they're punching each other in the face. I'm like, man, I've had like weird friend groups before where they do boxing, but it's always body shots only. And that's like, even that was weird. But
I used to box with my friends too. And I was like, take it easy on me, man. All my friends are bigger than me, dude.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
You were friends with some corn-fed ass motherfuckers.
I know, man. I was like, dude, chill. But yeah, it is some. Now, would we ever do that? These guys are in their fucking 50s. So am I doing that?
Hell no.
No shot. Yeah.
But anyways, Craig ends up taking it too far and ends up sucker punching Austin and like knocking him out. He's like, oh, man, that's my bad. And then he does a really weird... Listen, I'm not going to get into all the weird shit he does. Just know that he's a fucking weirdo throughout the movie, okay?
Yeah.
He's Tim Robinson. It's Tim Robinson.
It's a good time to say it. Y'all should watch this movie.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's odd.
So they're like, okay, man, you got to go, whatever. And they're like, fuck you, bro. You're an asshole. You ruined the night, whatever. So now he's upset because he's lost this friendship. Austin's like, I don't want to hang out with you anymore. And trying to get into like a new friendship, he's like struggling, right? So at first he's like, maybe I should spend more time with my son and maybe try and do the cool stuff that I did with Austin with my son. And his son's like, this sucks. And I don't want to do any of this shit. And then, he tries to invite some of his, some people from work over that he's never talked to before. And they immediately start making fun of him. And then he's like, I don't want to hang out with you guys. Get the fuck out of here. Whatever. And again, all of this is just part of him, like trying to be someone he's not. Like,
yeah.
When he's trying to do the cool, fun stuff with Austin, he's like taking these people to the same places that Austin took him. right? He's taking them, and doing the same thing. He's like, trying to be like, oh, I'm into this hobby that Austin does. So he's not being genuine, It's really like that's part of like the sadness of this movie,
Yeah, and it's also like that's what gets sociopathic a little bit, because he's not trying to relive what he had with Austin. He's trying to become Austin.
Yeah,
he
in a
wants
lot of
to
ways.
be Austin
Yeah.
to these people, and it's kind of horrifying.
Yeah. And while he's doing this, he's also still like obsessing over Austin and, watching everything that he does and trying to be friends with him. He ends up breaking into his house and stealing a gun from his office. So it's like, oh, it's literally Chekhov's gun in this instance. But it's like midway to the beginning or the second act, I guess.
Yeah.
So, he's doing all this crazy shit, and it comes to a head when he forces his wife to go on an adventure with him and forces her to go through the tunnels that they went to get to City Hall. And when he does this, his wife gets lost. So it becomes this huge thing, like everybody in the town knows about it. It's all over the news. They end up looking for her for like a couple of days. During this time, he also like has a huge mental breakdown at work, and then he like gets fired because he's like starts yelling at a client who happens to be the mayor and all this shit. And so his life is just falling apart. He has no friends. His wife is missing. His son fucking hates him for not looking for his wife, and he's just got fired at work. And then his wife gets found, and he doesn't really know what's going to happen. I think this is part of the movie where Dano had mentioned like we kind of hope he's going to get the consequences that he deserves. Which is we're all like, she's going to leave him, right? Like, I hope she doesn't just stay with him. Like, she should leave him. He's psychotic now. He's full mental breakdown.
Yeah, we're thinking about the wife. I think you should leave.
I think you should leave. But meanwhile, Craig's like,
I didn't do fucking shit.
so she does end up saying, I'm moving out, whatever. And then we get this like ending where it seems like Craig is going to turn his life around. Right. So he starts spending time with his son, and it seems like he's actually doing the stuff his son wants to do. Mm-hmm. He stops, he gets a new job, and he is kind of taking care of himself. Right. He ends up going to a birthday dinner for his son, and it's just him, his wife, and his son. And he also reveals to them that night that he bought her a van. So like there's this thing. She owns a very, popular flower business. And after she goes missing and then she gets found, she gets a little segment on the news. So then her flower business blows up like even more like throughout the movie. And she's been telling him like throughout the entire movie, we need a bigger car. Like I need a bigger car because I need to fit all my flowers. Obviously they're really delicate, beautiful flowers. So she can't stack them on top of each other. She's like, I need a bigger car. He finally gets her the bigger car at the end of the movie. He reveals that. And as they go home, the son is like, Mom, will you stay and watch a movie with us? Whatever. So it's like even the son is kind of like, you can tell part of him wants them to make up,
Yeah.
which it's like, you could see that again, when I say like this movie, like most of the characters are normal. Like the son is one of these characters where you would think this son would fucking hate his dad because that's what sons in movies do.
Yeah, yeah.
Sons in movies just go, I fucking hate you, bro.
Natural disposition.
Yeah, and I'm just like, most teenagers aren't like that. Like, it kind of bothers me. Like, in every movie, it's like, I fucking hate my dad. He's a piece of shit. He fucking got my mom lost in the catacombs or whatever. But yeah. So the son is like, hey, like, I want to spend time together as a family. They're hanging out, and they're, the wife is like kind of flirting with him again, and she's like excited to be home, whatever. But on their way home, they realize that Austin has bought his dream car that he told Craig about earlier in the movie. And he said, when I get the dream car, you'll be the first one to ride it. So then he has a full-on mental breakdown, breaks into his house while all of his friends are there, pulls out the gun, threatens them because he's like, you didn't give me a second chance. You didn't let me do anything. You didn't even like ask me anything. So then he's like pointing a gun at everybody, forcing them to ask him questions about himself because he's like, you guys didn't even try to get to know me. This isn't fair to me. And then it all comes to a head when the police show up and they arrest him, and that's the end of the movie. Now, some of the things that are important, like, character elements of this movie, Paul Rudd, I'll just say this.
Was that a toupee, you piece of shit?
Wears the toupee.
Yes.
And the only person who sees him with his toupee off is Craig. And And it happens first when they get arrested after, they get lost in the catacombs. I keep saying catacombs, but they're not. They're like aqueducts or whatever.
Aqueducts.
But after the wife gets lost in the aqueducts is, Paul Rudd admits, I keep saying Paul Rudd, but I say Craig. Tim Austin says, fuck, guys, only 100 goddamn episodes in.
Fuck.
And we're just now saying, wait, are you not? 100 episodes in, you would think I would learn some characters' names.
No,
Wait. But Austin admits that they did go there previously. So they're like, okay, you guys are, you're admitting to trespassing.
Yeah.
So they get arrested for it. And, he sees him without his toupee then. And he helps him put it back on and he pretends he doesn't see it. And then at the end of the movie, when he's waving the gun at everybody and they all drop to the floor after the gun fires, Paul Rudd's toupee falls off and Craig forces everyone to look away until Paulston. Rudston. Is this working? Until Austin has his toupee back on. And the movie ends like as he's sitting in the police car, Craig is sitting in the police car. Austin looks back at him, winks at him and gives him a smile. And then he smiles. So it was really like surreal, man. It was really like, this movie is like, it's so funny because it's Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
But it is so sad.
Yeah, it's sad. It's, I really do, no spoilers for this movie, but I really see a parallel between this movie and Dream Scenario with Nick Cage. Because it's very similar in story and structure ultimately. But it deals with this, like, there's just this, it's sad in a very like pathetic way. And it does force a little self-reflection. How much are you willing to give up? How much of your sanity are you willing to give up, much less the people in your life, for a specific connection that you're searching for that might not even be healthy?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, to see there's just a true obsession in this movie when the amount of tension that I felt, like genuine, like a fucking meeting at the Italian restaurant in Godfather tension that I felt when Tim Robinson breaks into his house and hears his wife's voice calling for Austin. I felt so tense.
While Craig is on the phone with the mayor, who
For a
his company
business
has
meeting.
just taken on as a client,
Yeah.
in which he is the only representative assigned to his case, like to his, profile or whatever. I don't know what they would call it there.
Yeah.
The company he works for in the thing is a company that gets people addicted to their phones.
Yes, and it's while holding a gun. So it's like they stack shit on top of each other to make this really tense situation, and it worked. I felt so much fear in that moment, and it was like, what the fuck is happening? How did we get here? Kind of moment. And yeah, you when you see that obsession, and that's like you said, like midway through the movie, start of the second act, kind of. And then all of a sudden you're seeing this scene of him in the police car just smiling ear to fucking ear with his weird little teeth at Austin, just giving him a wink.
Yeah.
It's because he's like, I kept his secret. I did it. It's just so strange and pathetic and sad and eerie and funny, and it's like it's a lot, but it's kind of a I do want to tip my cap because I thought it was a great way to end the movie.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a good ending.
It really was, because it was like, okay, let's end the movie with the full mental break.
Yeah,
And to show like almost like a cynical nihilist ending of this guy is still obsessed. He's still seeking that validation. Like that's part of the thing when you say like you hope for him, like you hope, especially as you're going into this third act, like you hope like he lets this go, and you have like this little bit of like happiness when he gets back to the house and his son is like, hey, we have another package for Austin, and he tells his son like, hey, can you run this over? You're like, okay, yeah, good job, man.
yeah. Step one.
Like you're doing it. Like you're you're not holding on to that parasocial relationship. You know, like this. You know, it's just so like codependent, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And it's really like if codependency was the bad guy in a movie, which I know is what they're saying about the movie Together. But so we'll compare.
Yeah, we'll compare, honestly.
But yeah, this is just a
codependency double feature.
codependency double feature.
One's a comedy, one's not.
Or maybe we'll watch the original together.
A lawsuit. Yeah,
Lawsuit alert. Woo!
woo, woo. Great segue to bring up the Conor O'Malley's in this.
Yeah.
Who we just saw
live
in Denver.
Live at Comedy Works in Denver. That's right. We got to see Conor O'Malley live.
Yes.
And he was fantastic. And it was really, really good.
Speaking of
I know that he's big, but he looked bigger in person.
Yeah, speaking of like something singular, Conor O'Malley. So shout out to Conor O'Malley because I need him to be in everything. I need him to be in more. I need him to be in more stuff. He's great.
Well, I know one way to get him in more stuff.
If you guys got the dough, I'll do the show.
That's all it takes.
To the show.
That's all it takes. His character is so funny and has probably the funniest line in the movie, which made me laugh the hardest. I'm not gonna lie.
The fact that it was off screen.
The fact that it was off screen tells me that like he knew like, hey, we're running audio inside. But the shots for outside, and he's like, okay, so I can just say whatever. It's like when you see like the Zach Galifianakis.
I'm thinking about the line now.
Yeah.
So
if you guys have ever seen like the bloopers or outtakes of from Zach Galifianakis in the movie,
it's kind of a funny.
It's kind of a funny story. You know, there's this whole segment where he's off camera, or he's on camera, but he's in the background, and we're not hearing what he's saying in the movie. So there's all these outtakes of what he's doing on a fake phone call on the phone. And like he even has one. He's like, "Yeah, can I get a pizza, half pepperoni, and the other half pepperoni?" Like just dumb shit like that, whatever.
Yeah.
And this is what this felt like. This is what this felt like. He's giving a speech, and he's like just some random guy. He's a random firefighter that helped find his wife. When she gets home and they're at a party for her, like a welcome home party. And he gets up to do a speech. And as they're like zooming in on Craig outside in the lawn, smoking a cigarette by himself, you just hear him like, yeah, I just want to say, so happy that we could find her. Also, it's very important that I believe that we should not have left Afghanistan. I don't know why we're not there right now. Yeah. Just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And what he's wearing is insane. He's wearing like a fucking American flag eagle, like insane shirt. Man, his character was just so funny, and he was so in the movie for like 5 minutes.
I know.
I'm like, dude, every time, like the only time that he has not been actively funny in a movie where he randomly shows up was in Bodies, 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 where I laughed his entire fucking scene because it was Conor O'Malley.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, so he was great. We love Conor O'Malley. Was happy to see him live here in Denver, and he was great in this movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, of course he's in this fucking movie.
That's why I think it's funny that we saw this a week after seeing him, because it's just 2 weekends in a row of just fucking bonkers ass shit, man.
Yeah, dude, it's a Conor summer.
Yeah, it's just bonkers shit. I love it. And I'm noticing too as we talk about. So, because you had brought up the firefighter who saved her. Am I wrong? That's her ex.
Yeah, that was what I think the implication was.
Yeah, I forget his name.
And they get this guy to play the hottest guy you've ever met. Like, it's so funny. Like, that's his character in everything.
Yeah, so that's what's funny is like I'm realizing now after we were kind of looking up the director's like work, like we were looking it up before we started recording of like trying to see who actually wrote this and directed it and stuff before we talked about it. And this guy has done some really good comedy television,
Yeah.
including the other two, which is kind of a more niche show, but that guy's from that show.
Yeah.
And then he also directed Shrill, which is a series I fucking love with A.D. Bryant, who, guess who's in that? Conor O'Malley. So he's using all these actors that he's worked with before in his project. And I think that's so fucking cool. But
and of course, Conor was on I Think You Should Leave as well. So it's like not surprising. Like it's not surprising at all to see him in this.
Yeah. So it's like it's cool that he uses the same actors. And yeah, when I saw well, I know him as Lance from the other two, but I was like, of fucking course, that's who her ex is, who's a firefighter, who then gives like this speech about how she's a brave warrior woman who deserves the world, and then uses her maiden name instead of her married last name.
Yeah,
and
it's like this guy, because he's also in Scream. And I think that he does play like someone's ex or whatever, and he usually plays like a dumb guy or whatever. But I think that like
lovable,
like his character is like in most of what I've seen him in is this guy who's like, oh yeah, I used to date that guy, or I was dating this guy, and then people see him and they go, oh my god, that's the most attractive man I've ever seen. And I was like, that's so perfect for him to play this character that we've been picturing in our heads, because she's like, oh, I rekindled this friendship with my ex. And to see him, and it's the most handsome guy you've ever seen. It's like, of course it is. Of course he's a fucking beautiful firefighter. Like what are, it's this like, this world is like so real, but there's surrealism aspects of it. And that was just one that's like his face is the joke. Like, oh, this is her ex. Of course it is.
Yeah, I can't remember his name in the movie, but they do kind of an Arrested Development.
Dylan or whatever.
They do Devin.
It's
Devin. I think.
Well, that's okay. Here's my thing about it. They're doing this bit, like you said, Arrested Development. You're talking about the Ann bit.
The Ann bit, yeah.
Of where every time she brings him up, he's like, Devin. Like, who's Devin? Mm-hmm. But there were times that he said it and she got mad at him, where I was like, that's not what he meant. And it kind of like made me upset. Like, she would be like, maybe I should go hang out with Devin. And he's like, Devin? And then she's like, you know who Devin is. Mm. I'm like, but the way he said that was more of like, why do you want to keep hanging out with your ex-boyfriend? You know? And it's like, it's one of the things in the movie that makes me feel sad for him.
Yeah, no, that I think when I told you that I was excited to talk about the movie because of the like specific underlying, like the specific examples of the underlying theme of social anxiety and did I do this wrong, thinking back on how you act, like this one really struck a fucking chord with me. Like this really hit a nerve, this idea of something being right in front of your fucking face with infidelity. And then you're just, you find out later and you're like, why didn't I know this already? You know, it's like this was in front of my face the whole fucking time. It's so embarrassing and it's so like
emasculating.
It's just so like, again, just like it's almost like anxiety when you have a hangover and you're like, did I fucking act crazy last night? And you're just like, it's like you can't change what you did, but you're worried about it anyways. And it's all over, it's all done, but for some reason it's haunting you. And it's like, I hate it. Like that shit really struck me in this movie, that throughout the whole movie, before it even, gets to a point where she's going, oh, by the way, after she decides she's going to split up from Craig, she's even before that, which she ends up saying, I'm going to go live in Devin's pool house. So she's going to go back to her ex. But anyways, which is a thing in its own. But before that, I was like, oh my God, like I was just cringing so hard every time he says, hey babe, we should go do blah, blah, blah. Like go to this bar and hang out or whatever it was. And she goes, oh, I
go
can't
eat the SEAL Team 6 meal.
And she goes,
it was the meal that they ate after they killed Osama.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, I can't, I'm going to get drinks with Devin. I'm like, what the fuck? She just said to your face, motherfucker, I'm going to meet up with my ex-boyfriend to go get drinks. Like not even dinner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not even no alcohol involved. I'm going to get drinks, which makes us behave even worse than we should. That's like, dude, it's right in front of your face, man. And it's just like, it's so embarrassing. And it's like, I've been there before. And so it really struck a chord with me to where I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm relating to a fucking batshit insane character who's pathetic and, and is very hilariously silly and aloof. And it's like, but that shit's real. That shit is just so human. It's like, even when it's funny, it's like, oh man, it's like a feel bad funny, It's tough.
The wife in this movie is played by Kate Mara, who is, I would say, a famously attractive actress. Mm-hmm. In that, like, she's played a lot of roles where she's the one who convinces a man to cheat on his wife. Like that kind of attractive. And there's like intentionally no chemistry between these two characters from the beginning of the movie. Like the opening scene of this movie is them in a cancer support group, and they are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum of their current beliefs and their current mental state from the very, very beginning of the movie. And so it's like it adds to this element of like her cheating on him. It's like you kind of expect her to leave him, and there are times where you're like, I want him to do better for her, and I want him to like respect her and love her. And there are other times where I'm like, I want her to be with him. I want her to respect him and love him, and I want her to, you know, be adventurous with him, even when they're at the freaking thing. It's like, okay, well, you also like she gets lost, and then everyone blames him. I'm like, but at the same time, though, he's like, I want to do this cool, fun thing, and then he helps you up this thing, and then you just walk away without him. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, I'm not like trying to victim blame her or anything, but I'm just like, you were like so petty about like, it's so against this thing that he's just like so desperate to have a good time with somebody. And you were like, I'm going to fucking walk away. Now everyone hates him because of it. You know, and it's like, well, you also walked away from it. You didn't wait for him. You didn't want to do it with him. And it caused like a fight between them. And I like felt for on both sides. I felt for it, you know, because she's like, I want you to just be fucking normal. And he's like, I want to more out of our relationship. I want to bond with you the way I bonded with Austin, you know? And it's kind of why I loved this like third act scene where like, you know, they get back into the house and they're like flirting with each other. And like, it was like the first time in the movie that I was like, oh, she is attracted to him. Oh, yeah. she does actually love him.
Yes, that's I was going to say that. It's the first time that where it makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, she's so distant from him. And it's like, oh, it's like, it really is a testament to, I think, the directing in this movie, because we have seen two characters who are supposed to be in love the entire movie who have no chemistry, and it never clicks. And in this one scene, I was like, I felt the chemistry. I felt the like her remembering why she loved this guy, remembering why she married him. And I actually felt like they were a married couple who once upon a time were so in love, they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together. Like that level of like base instinct attraction, you know, whatever. It's like the same way I feel for my wife, and the way that I've like the love I receive from my wife, even though I'm someone who deals with, you know, serious insecurities. There are times where I'm like, oh yeah, she really does find me attractive. Like what the fuck? like how? Mm-hmm. And it just like, I really love that moment. And that's why I'm so fucking pissed off that he ruined it.
Yeah.
He fucking ruined it. It's like, but it was just, I just wanted to bring that up because obviously, you know, I say this in like every movie where there's a married couple. Like I'm looking at my marriage, I'm looking at their marriage, and this is just one that I was like, I thought their relationship was such an important part of this movie, you know, and it was something that really tied into his psyche and his, like where he's at with everything.
Yeah, I get that. I there's some stuff we should mention too. I don't want to like forget to mention shit before we, you know, wrap things up, because something I thought of during the theater that I was like, I can't wait to bring this up is, again, when you're talking about comedy, there are so many layers and specific like intricacies that you can miss or that you can connect to or not connect to. And one of the things I fucking loved that I was like, I wish I was chattier in the theater because I would have just leaned over and said it. But like when they went to the show, they went to a punk show. Austin is in a punk band, and the name of their band is Fuck, and then the name of the mayor.
Yeah, Fuck Mayor.
Oh, no, it's the mayor's name sucks or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're a punk band, so it's, you know, it's like hardcore.
Yeah.
And at this show, Craig, at a hardcore punk show, is holding a beer. Oh, we'll hear that thunder. And then, in his other hand, he is holding. Dude,
oh yeah,
he is holding a massive plate of loaded nachos.
Yeah,
AKA something that, one, you would never see being sold at a show like this, but two, the worst idea to hold in the middle of a fucking crowd. It's just so.
It was just such a like, this guy's clearly 40s.
Yeah, like this guy is so out of his element, and it was just so funny to me. It's like, that's such a small joke, but I think it's really funny. Like I was like, that's.
I thought it was really
awesome.
funny that like after he talks to Austin and he's like convincing him to get the drums, and he's like, yeah, man, we'll jam, we'll play some punk music together. He starts listening to music, and he's like, yeah, I like punk, but it's like heavy metal, so it's like not the right kind of punk. It's not even like the same punk music that Austin makes.
But he's listening to it because Austin played it in his car. That's why he likes
Oh,
that.
okay. I see. That's what.
That's why he likes that song. It's a Slipknot song. It's Slipknot, which is not punk.
at all. Not punk at all.
That is
Famously not punk.
Metal, yeah, that is metal. But yeah,
Hey, some metal fans would fucking hate. So they're like, Slipknot's not metal, dude.
they're
And
wrong.
I'm like, no one would listen to your music. No one would make your music.
they're wrong. But yeah,
That's my thing. Go ask your favorite fucking metal band who they listened to growing up before they made music. They'd probably fucking say Slipknot.
But-
Sorry.
but this is not about Slipknot.
It's not. It's not.
It's Slipknot
join in.
about Slipknot.
Wait. Wait. 100 episodes and we're just now talking about Slipknot?
I hope I didn't actually say a slur in that. I was just like,
Anyways, so keep that in.
but
We're just now talking about Slipknot.
I say editor's choice, right?
But yeah, it's just funny because he's like, we should play punk, but he's listening to this Slipknot song that Austin played in his car.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is punk. It's like, it's not punk. But yeah, it's just like, it's also just one of these sections where it's like, you know, sometimes, like, again, this movie goes up and down with like, I'm rooting for this guy because I want him to better his life. I want him to be happy. I want him to make other people happy. I want him to have better relationships with people. And it looks like his relationship with Austin has been a positive in his life. You know, he's waking up early, he's walking, he's like, I've took a walk and, you know, I'm listening to music. He's like, you know, bonding with his son about it. His wife is like enjoying the food that he's cooking for her and all this stuff. So it's just like it's one of these sections that's just like, man, this guy's like, he's almost there. He's almost there.
yeah. We need to mention the drug trip as well.
Oh, so as you guys know, we are not fans on this podcast of dream sequences.
For the most part.
And some of the times we will correlate something like a vision or like a drug trip as a dream sequence. Like we'll put that in the same category. If this is in that category, this is one of the best ones I've ever fucking seen.
Same.
This is one of the best drug trip sequences I've ever seen. So after Austin has lost everything, his wife has told him that she's leaving him, and his friend is like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And he's lost his job because he had the, you know, mental episode there. He goes to this guy who he's bought a phone from. There's an ongoing bit that he loses or breaks every single phone. And the funniest part about it is every time he loses his phone, it's because he drops it right in front of him. And he doesn't just bend down to pick it up.
And he goes, where the fuck is it?
Yeah, he goes, where the fuck is it? And he's like, it's gone. It's lost. He drops it right in front of himself.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like in mud or water or whatever, but he doesn't just bend down to pick it up. He's just like, where the fuck is it? It's gone. So the guy, the kid who he's been buying these phones from, who works at this phone store, once told him, like, if you want something stronger than beer, come see me, whatever. So he goes to him and he's like, what do you got? And he's like, listen to all this stuff. And eventually he's like, I also have this toad. You guys remember this trend from like the 2000s where people were licking toads? Was that 2000s or 2010s? How old are we?
I don't know. I remember seeing actually do you remember the Viceland, the channel?
Yes.
And there was a Andrew something, and it was a guy who went and talked about different drugs and stuff. I remember an episode of him going on a boat ride in, I believe, like Southern Asia, and for a trip where they go lick a poisonous frog. But it was like one of those like green and yellow tree frogs type poison frogs.
Oh.
And it made him almost like fucking die. Like it was something crazy. But anyways, like,
But yeah, this was like a thing. I think there's like a South Park episode about people licking toads and it being hallucinogenic, whatever. I know some people I work with that could tell me all about it.
Yeah, honestly.
I also know some people who I no longer work with that can tell me all about it.
Craig was trying to get ayahuasca because he knows that Austin does ayahuasca because of a book he found in his office.
Yes.
So he's still trying to become Austin. It's so weird.
Yeah.
His obsession is farther than an obsession. He wants to fucking crawl into his goddamn skin.
Yes.
But yeah.
So he licks the toad and he starts tripping. And in this trip, he finds himself in a subway. And at the subway is an older Austin, like a gray hair Austin. And he's like, where'll it be, man? And it's so funny in this scene, too, because I was telling Dan, I was like, I really believe that Paul Rudd would have fantastic customer service. Like, I feel like he's the kind of guy that if I like ordered something from him and he was like, good choice, I'd be like, it was a good choice.
I like this guy.
I like this guy.
I like the cut of this
guy. He made me
guy's
feel
chin.
good about this. And then it's like, and he's like going through the order and he's like, I'm assuming untoasted. And he goes, you know what? Let's get a little crazy. Let's toast it. And then as he's doing that, he sees the kid from the phone store and he's like, hey man, how was it? How long was your trip? He was like, what do you mean? That trip was like 5 fucking minutes. He was like, it didn't feel like 4 months. He's like, no, man. He's like, what'd you see, bro? Did you see God? He's like, I went to fucking Subway.
I went to Subway. He's like, oh, what happened? He goes, I ordered.
And the guy goes,
He said, I ordered.
the kid goes, the toad works in mysterious ways. And then he goes, I think that toad fucking ripped me off, the little fucker.
That told me to be off, the little fucker.
Little fucking fucker. That toad ripped me off.
Yeah, you expect this to be the way they build this up, because
It's like, this is going to be the revelation he needed.
Yeah, and even if it's not, they build it up to be a genuinely crazy drug-induced sequence, which there are some good ones in movies and stuff. But anyways, they build it up to the point where like he licks the toad and the employee makes him lay down, gives him a pillow, and he's like, brother, this is going to change your fucking life. You're going to die and you're going to be reborn. So they really, really build it up. And for it to be a 2-second sequence of him at Subway and him going, what the fuck happened? And he's like, I went to Subway. He said, oh shit, what happened? And he goes, I ordered. It was like this very normal. It was so funny. It was
so funny. And it was like, is this their product placement for Subway?
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
thinking. I was like, wait a minute, is Subway just a part of, this is their product placement for them? I love too that so again, it's just the intricacies, right? I love that Paul Rudd says, you gonna get your usual toppings? And he's like, yes. And he's like, yeah. And they go over the toasted thing and he starts cutting the bread before the toasting thing and he goes, foot long, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, and a foot long cookie? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, this dude's fucking eating, bro. God damn.
But also,
this is his usual order, as in he gets a foot long sandwich and a foot long cookie every time he goes to Subway.
But at the same time, though, if Paul Rudd looked at me and was like, foot long cookie, I'd be like, hook it up, brother.
Hook it up, bro. I can't say no.
I can't say no to him.
He's so charming.
He's so charming and good looking.
Yeah, even
and
with
handsome,
just scraggly gray hair
and fucking.
Oh yeah, I'm fixing to fuck you.
Oh, you thought we weren't gonna do the Paul Rudd drops on this?
Come on, man. We've been fans.
We've been doing this, bro.
That's
which, by the way, is that no, that's from Wasteland or Wonderless.
Yeah,
no, whatever.
Yeah, that just an incredible sequence, and I think there was a point where, like, after that is when he starts rebuilding his life. So, and it's a really small sequence of the movie. It's pretty much the end. Like, the end of the movie is after this.
Yeah, they make you think like, everything's over with.
Yeah, so like the fact that scene, now that the movie's over, we saw it, is essentially completely non-consequential, right?
Or maybe we'll find out in part 2.
Who knows? But I told Dave, like, probably midway through the actual ending part of this movie, I was like, wait a minute, is he still tripping and we just don't know it yet? Because a bunch of good shit started happening.
Yeah.
His wife was like flirting with him. He was like, hey, I bought a van for you. And it has her logo on the side.
A tough guy.
Yeah. Which he immediately regrets and goes, we got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Like when all this stuff is happening, all of a sudden I'm like, there's no way that trip was actually just nothing. And it was just him going to Subway and ordering a sandwich. So I'm actually going, wait a minute, is he still tripping? Holy fuck, this is going to be a good twist, But nope, that was it. He ordered a sandwich for Paul Rudd.
But then you're like, yeah, man, he licked a toad from an 18-year-old kid who works at a phone store. It's not going to be a good trip.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. T-Dog or what? T-Boy.
T-Boy.
T-Boy. Yeah, that was so funny, man. And again, it just adds itself to such a singular movie. This movie is really in a league of its own in terms of tone and like what kind of comedy and genuinely horror elements it has.
Like one of the things, like even in like the craziest scene in the movie, which is the ending scene, they still have a really funny bit where he's like screaming at them to be like, ask me something about myself. You didn't even give me a chance. You didn't even get to try to know me. And he's points a gun at someone and he goes, ask me something. And the guy goes, what's your favorite food? He's like, I'm nervous. I can't fucking think of anything. Well, he's pointing a gun at them, asking them to ask him questions. And then he goes, there's a fucking new guy? You have a new guy? He points the gun at him. He goes, what's your name? He goes, Jim. He goes, Jim? He's like, no, it's like jump with a P. It's Jim. He's like, what the fuck? It's like, even in this scene, they're doing these like crazy comedic things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, there's so many elements of this movie. Like even like at his job too. It was one of those things where it's just like, I felt for him, bro. Cause like it seems like he's good at his job. Right, like when they get the mayor as a client,
he actually has a good pitch. Yeah.
Not only does he have a good pitch, but it's also like they ask him, "This is your like, hey, we just got the mayor. This is your thing. Like, who do you want on your team?" Like he's the go-to guy. You know what I'm saying? They have a scene where he's like going through a thing, and there are people like 6 people sitting in his office, and he's showing them. So it's not like he's some fucking like he's not a loser at work. Right. He is really good at his job. He's a higher level position at his job.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also like his job, I think, was something that was done as a joke, but it also made me think like, oh, you know, his wife says, well, I know that you're not busy, you know, too busy to go hang out with Austin or whatever at the beginning of the movie because you just sit there in your chair on your phone all day. And his job is helping apps implement things into their app to get people addicted to their phones. And so it's just like, I feel like maybe there's a part of him that's like, oh, this character is so socially awkward because he's so good at knowing why people are addicted to their phones because his brain is fucking melted. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, I don't know. And I'm like reading too much into that, but I love that. Like I was like connecting that element of his life to these things that are happening to him.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't stop thinking about his actual pitch when he's just like, you're the mayor. And I think that we should implement an idea that you are not just a mayor, you're a friend. If we introduce you as a friend, you can, what the fuck is it? He goes, what the fuck is it? I was dying, dude. Anyways, that shit was so funny.
It's like, I would love to believe that was just Tim Robinson forgetting his line and then keeping it in. What the fuck is it?
a Jack Black on Community moment for sure. But yeah.
I think that, you know, overall, this is a movie that we were going into hoping to like it, but also a movie we were expecting to like, which is why we made it the 100th episode, because we were like, let's do a movie that we expect to like. I did like it as much as I expected to. I didn't think that this was going to be the best movie ever. I didn't think it was going to be the funniest thing I'd ever seen, but I was like, you know what? It's A24. It's Tim Robinson. It's Paul Rudd. I'm going to enjoy this movie. And I did. I think that my least favorite part is, pretty easy. I think that my favorite part of the movie is Tim Robinson and all of his Tim Robinson isms, and I think that my least favorite part of the movie, it's hard because there are things that I didn't like, but it was good for the movie, but I was upset. You know what I mean? Like the main, the wife and her fucking always spending time with her ex and shit like that. Like that bothered me, and him not noticing it bothered me. But it's not like something wrong with the movie, I mean, shit, the cinematography is mid. I think that, the music is non-existent
for the most part,
for the majority of the movie.
It has a very world soundtrack. It uses a lot of like worldly instruments. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it's very sparse. They barely use music.
But I don't think that the thing that's the most difficult about doing a least favorite part is that there's nothing offensively bad about this movie. There are things that they could have done better. Music could have been better. Lighting could have been better. Cinematography could have been better. The world, the settings in general. I'm like, why do both people's houses look like they're from the 70s? Like in the interior, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just these kinds of things, but it's not like a big deal. That's the most that I can give you.
Mm. Yeah. My favorite part of the movie was the subway scene. I thought that was very funny. And it comes together when it ends up not mattering. I think that makes it so much better. And my least favorite part of the movie, I mean, there were definitely lulls where it wasn't boring, but it was, I guess it could have been trimmed a little bit. And there were moments where they were going for laughs where it didn't hit They were very few and far between, so I don't want it to sound like it was an actual problem. But when it did happen, I was like, okay, like swing and a miss on that one. So there's just some moments, where it just does not work. But that's really all I can think of for like genuine negative comments. Because even like when you talk about the cinematography, like I really loved the way they shot this movie. I was like, they shot this like it wasn't a comedy. There is not a comedy vibe to the way that this is filmed.
That's true. There's no comedic editing. There's no comedic zooms in. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's not an Edgar Wright movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I do have a least favorite part. I just remembered. My least favorite part of this movie is the fantasy sequences. It's the sequences where Tim Robinson is picturing himself with Austin. Like there's like a scene of him
narration.
Like there's narration and he's like carrying him away. Like,
I forgot about that.
And there's like scenes of them riding around in the car and like blowing bubbles and all this stuff. The narration is awful and the fantasy is awful. And I think that the only thing it adds is like trying to make us better understand how obsessed he is with him, which I think we get anyway.
Yeah,
like you
definitely.
saying like he goes to try and get ayahuasca from this kid while his life is falling apart because he saw that he had a book about ayahuasca in his fucking, house. Is like, that's a really good subtle way to show us how obsessed he is with this person still.
Yeah.
So we didn't need these sequences of him fantasizing about them being best friends.
I completely forgot about those sequences because they are forgettable, because they should not have been in the movie. So I'm also stealing that. Those were the worst parts. There was one like you said, real dreamy daytime riding around the car. There was one at the end when he was carrying him out. Yeah. So those should have been cut for sure. Those were
100%.
Those were the worst parts of the movie. And introducing narration for no fucking reason was
then
stupid.
never going back to it.
Yeah, so stupid.
It was very, very weird.
Yeah. Bad choice.
I'm giving this one. Man, I want to give it an 8, but that feels wrong. Why?
Because it's not really an 8.
It's really not. I think I want to give it that because I love Tim Robinson so much. And I think You Should Leave as a whole is an 8. There are episodes that are fucking tains, dude. Bits that are fucking bangers. And I know bangers, dude. I know bangers. Yeah, I think I am going to land on a 7 for this one, which still feels a little high. But I love Tim Robinson, and I will watch this movie again, and I will recommend it to everyone. So for those reasons, I have to give it a 7. I think an 8 is wrong. Like an 8 is what I gave Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like it's not that good, So
yeah, that's when you get from this was a good movie with a good story to like this is really creative filmmaking and this is stunt choreographing. It's like
It's the difference between me saying I think everyone should go see this movie versus you have to see this movie. Like that's where it is for me. And I will say, if you like Tim Robinson, you will like this movie.
Yes, I agree.
And if you hate Tim Robinson, you think his comedy is cringe and annoying, you're going to fucking hate this movie.
Yeah, you're not going to like this movie. Yeah, that's such a good way to put it. So shout out to the guy in our theater who was sitting 2 seats over from us who had a Dan Flash's t-shirt on. We know why he was there.
So yeah, I'm going to land on a 7. Daniel?
Yeah, it's funny because before the ending hit, I was like in a 6 and 6.5 area. But the ending was so good and it ended right that I was like, nah, that's a 7. So I'm also going to give it a 7. It's in that same, it's so similar, even though the tone is different, it's so similar to Sacramento. It's like, this is an original comedy that works.
Yep.
And this one, again, has different tone than Sacramento. Sacramento is way more bright and straightforward, but that's another thing you have to give this credit for is that this is just so original.
Even people comparing it to I Love You, Man, I'm like, dude, this is so like, I get why they're making that comparison, not just because of the Paul Rudd thing, but because that's also a movie about a guy who doesn't want to be friends with someone anymore. And he's like forcing the friendship, but that's like a feel good fucking comedy that you know what I'm saying? Like that's a movie that would play on FX.
Yeah.
This is not a movie that plays on FX.
Yeah. And this one, I was thinking that I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, I think I Love You, Man also has Paul Rudd playing guitar. It's like there's some really close similarities, but it's only if you are really looking for them. But yeah, this movie is just so original, and I want, just like we said about Sacramento in our review, I want more movies like this.
Yeah.
I really do. I love the genre bending and the surreal atmosphere, and
I'll say this:
Yeah,
whether it
it's
has
great.
Tim Robinson in it or not, anything this director does again, I will go see. I also would like to see Tim Robinson in more feature-length movies. And I think that this director really knew how to use him correctly.
True.
You can tell he wrote this script with this person in mind. So
Yeah.
a lot of it was just done really well in those ways. And like I said, like we're big Tim Robinson fans, so we love this movie. With all that said, we are going to be getting into part 2, which I think once upon a time we said we swear we're going to do a traditional part 2 at some point this year. And I'm really, really hoping we can live up to that promise. But
today's not that day.
our 100th episode. Now, we did tell you guys a little bit ago that you had the opportunity to determine the fate of this podcast. Because once upon a time, we asked for people to give us praise and to love us and to shower us. And why do anything on the internet if not for showering and praise and attention? And please like me, please. So we have asked our fans, if they wanted to, they don't have to, or we'll cancel the pod, to send us some voice messages or some memos to just congratulate us on 100 episodes. And there was no pressure, except we'll cancel the episode of the podcast if you don't do it. And we just wanted to, like, organic with at gunpoint messages from you guys. So we're going to be going through those. And so that's going to be our part 2 today. Sorry. No, I my promise still exists.
So if you want to stick around for part 2 and find out if this podcast is going to exist or not, then tune in. All right, it is time for part 2, a very special part 2, where we just want to celebrate 100 episodes. This is incredible. We've almost been doing this for 3 years, guys. It's kind of crazy. So, with that being said, let's start with a little message here from a fan named Matt. Matt says, I'm going to play the audio message that Matt sent us, but he also sent us a little written message that does say that you guys are truly amazing. Congrats again on coming so far with the pod. Love y'all, with a smiley face. Obviously, we know Matt both from his support of this show, but also he's also a massive supporter of Wild Dream Stream. So thank you so much,
And
Matt.
guest on Wild Dream Stream.
And guest, yeah, he's played with us a couple times. So let's see what Matt has to say.
Hey guys, this is Schmatt. Congrats on 100 episodes. Why do I listen to Wild Dream? Well, I love movies, but regular old movie reviews can be kind of stale. Dan and Dave, they just bring an energy to their show that'll have you laughing, sometimes crying, but also laughing because these guys are hilarious. I've never heard an episode I didn't enjoy, and yes, I have listened to all of them. I'm so excited for the 100th episode, and I hope there's at least 100 more to come. You brothers and Taylor have made something truly amazing, and I can't wait to see where y'all take it next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes,
It's funny. He said
our friend Schmatt. We do call him Schmatt, as that is his Twitch name.
Twitch name.
So every time we see him in the chat, we call him Schmatt.
That's his identity. It's like his glasses as Clark Kent. He's like, no, I'm Schmatt. Like, oh, I thought it was Matt.
It's also one of those things where you're like, yeah, well, Matt. And I was like, who the fuck is Matt? And you go, Schmatt. I'm like, oh, yeah, Schmatt.
Schmatt, Matt.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know from you, Dave. When he mentions halfway through that, there's not an episode I didn't like. What episode did you think?
Beast.
I thought, see how they run. We're our own worst critics, right?
Yep.
Let's see what this movie is real quick.
See How They Run was a good episode. Don't Worry, Darling was also not.
Hey guys,
Sorry.
is this real? Or is David inflating the numbers again? That's a lot of movies. If it wasn't for the Wild Dream Pod, I probably would have seen a bunch of terrible movies. And missed out on some pretty good ones too. And don't even get me started on how much fun those Twitch streams are. Look, if you're not tuning in, I don't like to throw shade, but
Sipping from his Take It and Come mug while wearing his Simona
David,
shirt.
Daniel, and Taylor, hey, congrats on 100 episodes. This is an amazing milestone. Cheers to 100 more.
And if you guys want to see that full video, you can check out our Instagram.
Yes.
We'll be posting that with the announcement of this episode. Thank you, Schmat. We really appreciate all of your support. It's meant the world to us.
That was badass.
That was badass.
Thank you for the video in addition to the recording. That's so cool, man. Thank you.
Yes, I believe he's wearing his Semina hat as well.
Yeah, he's
and
swagged
his
out.
Semina shirt that he won in a giveaway.
That's right.
For support of the Twitch stream. So always support on the Twitch stream. You never know when we're gonna get some drops out there.
That's true.
And his Take An Income mug, which
Yes.
was one of our first pieces of merch. Very limited time because it has nothing to do with the podcast. It's just a joke we made on the podcast, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking do that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate you, man.
I'll tell you what, if you guys want to be a real friend, here's a drop for you right now. I'll send you a free Semina sticker if you can tell me what episode we said Take An Income and sold that merch.
Nice, good one. I'll up the ante too on this. I'll up the ante on this.
Okay.
I will also buy. I will purchase out of my own pocket, which is very large.
Well, that's not that good of a giveaway if it's a very large pocket. So it was nothing to you.
No, I'd cut that. I will also enter this sweepstakes that David is doing here. I will also purchase a free Semina sticker for you, free for you, if you can tell us where I messed up the number of episodes. If you go, here's the hint. If you go to our companion episode poster, our companion episode, you will see that it says episode 92 for real this time. That is because I fucked up the number of episodes at some point. If you can tell us when that is, I'll give you a cinema sticker.
There you go. 2 stickers on the line for whichever fan can fan the hardest.
Can fan the hardest. All right. Our next one comes from another longtime supporter. Let's see what our good friend Gabby has to say.
Hi, Wild Dream Podcast. I wanted to take a moment to express how proud I am of you guys for 100 episodes and just say that I admire y'all's ability to take something that you are passionate about and take like an art that you value and you're passionate about and then find a way to gracefully communicate and share that and verbalize that with others so that we can enjoy it with you. I think that is one of like the true essence of entertainment and human connection is being able to do that. And you guys do a really amazing job at that. And that's why I've listened to all 100 episodes, and I will listen to the next 100 episodes. I love you guys, and yeah, you know, I just think it's really brave and amazing to do what you do.
I agree.
And
We're really
yes.
brave. Are we also good
I guess
boys?
that's it. Wild Dream, till the day I die. We love you. We spook you. Good night.
Yeah, we appreciate you for sending that in. That was very thoughtful and as you usually are, just very thoughtful, and that's very sweet and very deep. And you know what? We are brave. What we do, it's unbelievable.
It's really difficult to be 2 white men doing a podcast.
When we said, hey, we should do a podcast where 2 white guys are talking to each other, we were like, I don't know if this could work. Has it ever worked before? You know,
it was like we were trying to step into a world that no one had ever stepped into before, trying to do something that no one's ever done before.
We needed representation. And we decided to step in. Enough sitting back, you know, like it's time.
People need to know if movies are good or not.
No,
and they need us 2 white men to tell them.
Very, very sweet message. We appreciate you, Gabby. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you guys who are sending these in, by the way.
But you know what? She is right, though, about the fact that it's a vulnerable thing to do to put ourselves out there like this. And we make the joke all the time. It's like, well, it's not that fucking hard for 10 people, you know, whatever. But it's like the people who those 10 people, you know, like at this point, I think that being 100 episodes in, we kind of understand like what this might this, you know, the odds of this ever becoming more than just this is very, very low. So when we say we do this for those 10 people, like we really do fucking mean it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like that,
100%.
that's where our heart is.
Yes, it's a split love between us just loving movies and talking to each other about them, and then also just the love we have for all of you guys who support this. Not only right now, but like from the fucking get-go when we didn't even know what we were doing yet. And so it's like, it means the world. We really do.
And so
appreciate
far
it.
on these messages, a lot of pressure for another 100 episodes.
Yeah, we have 200 episodes.
200, that's a freaking lot. It took us 3 years to get to this.
Are there even that many movies?
Movies don't even come out anymore.
Oh my God, wait a minute. So special voice message here from producer Taylor. What?
Happy 100th episode, Wild Dream. I am so proud of y'all for making it 200 episodes. I am so excited to see where the podcast and where the stream goes. I just want to let y'all know it's genuinely one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. I'm sad when I don't have an episode. Y'all make amazing content. Thank you guys. Bye.
Aww.
We make amazing content.
Now turn around and see. Producer Taylor's must be.
She has some notes about her own audio message.
She must be into poultry the way she's giving us that bird. She was flipping us off. And then we do have one more here. Something that I love is that everybody who sent in these awesome messages, every single one of them is also a huge supporter of the stream.
Yeah,
it's not just this; like they also support the stream as well. So, even
listen, this is something that we say
double appreciation, guys,
during our streams too. And I want this to be known to you guys as well. When we're streaming, a lot of times we'll have like 1 or 2 people in the chat while we have 6, 7, 8 people watching, which I know isn't a lot, but for us it is. You know, and we know that there's a lot of streamers out there who would kill to have 8 people watching.
100%, yeah.
So we always want to give the shout out to those who what we call lurkers, you know, the people who watch but they don't comment. We love our lurkers. We love the people who watch the stream and don't comment because you're there, you're supporting, and we don't want anybody to feel pressure to be engaged in that. Not everybody wants to be part of the stream. You know, they're just here for the entertainment. And I just wanted that to be known. I mean, we make the joke all the time, like, you know, if you guys don't send anything in, we're going to cancel this podcast. And it is a bit. And the reason why I say that is that if you're a lurker of this podcast, you love listening to it, but you're not someone who feels confident following us on social media or sending us messages on Instagram or having your voice on the podcast, like we get it. We really, really do. So like, it is a bit, and we do love you and we do, you know, appreciate your support wholeheartedly. Even if you weren't someone who sent in a message, like you matter so much to us and your support means so much to us. I don't want you to feel like we're leaving you out. It's just a bit. We love you.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
When we say we love you, we kiss you goodnight, we really do mean
We're talking to you. We're whispering sweet nothings directly into your ear.
Right before bed and first thing in the morning, baby.
Think about me when you got that wet dream tonight, motherfucker.
And when you wake up sticky.
All right, let's get to our last message. Enough genuine bullshit. Let's get back into some fucking messages that praise us and make us feel like kings. All right, let's go to our last message from our friend Timothy.
Hey, Wild Dream, it's me, Timothy, friend of the pod. If you don't know me, then I want to tell you a quick story. I actually went to school with David back in the day, and we've had a very colorful history together. David ended up moving out of state, and while I did understand his move, and I was super proud of him and his family for doing that, it was hard, I won't lie. It felt like a part of me had left. Well, along came the Wild Dream podcast, and in a way, it was like I had my buddy back. I could listen to him scream and rant about movies just like we did back in college, and it really did make me feel at home, even though David's new home was so far away from mine. Additionally, I got to hear more from Daniel as well, which, if you didn't know, I didn't actually know him as well as David. But through the podcast, we also started playing games together, and that ended up turning into the Wild Dream stream channel over on twitchtv.com. I talk with these guys almost daily now, either via text or in-game chat, and even if we miss a day in the week, I always go back and listen to old episodes of the podcast to hear their voices. So, 100 episodes later, what is my review score of the Wild Dream podcast. I've got to give it a 9 out of 10. And hear me out.
What the
The
fuck?
only reason it's a 9 out of 10 is because the Love Hurts episode was not 4 hours long. Come on, guys, seriously. You could have talked about that film for ages and it not get old. And so, to celebrate that 100 episode anniversary, I've purchased a copy of the 4K collector's edition of Love Hurts, and I will be shipping it directly to David in order for him to rectify this mistake. At that point, I will give him the coveted 10 out of 10 score. I love you guys. Truly, I do. From the bottom of my heart. I love you, and I kiss you. Mwah.
That one got you, didn't it? Leave this in.
Do not leave this in.
Leave this in, Dave. Editor note, leave this in. And bass boost it.
Bass boost my dudes.
Yeah, I want every sniff to go. All right, guys, new.
Love you guys.
I got another cinema sticker to anyone who can tell me what episode Dave cried on and then which episode I cried on.
Well, way to end on a banger.
Way to end on a banger.
I'm only crying a little bit.
Yeah.
I miss you, buddy. See you soon.
Yes. Yeah. Timothy is someone that I did meet, like just like you just said. That's the kind of the story of where we've been the past couple of years, and it's really awesome that I feel look, David has made like acquaintances and legitimate friends through my friends, but it's never really been that way opposite. And this is the first time that that's happened. And I'm so grateful because Timothy is someone I talk to every fucking day now. And he is like one of my closest friends. And it's like, it's kind of crazy to think. I almost forget sometimes that it's like, oh, that was like him and Dave go way back, you know. It's
and it's like interesting too when you look back on like the fact that you made movies with us in college, but that part of y'all's relationship is like so irrelevant. To your relationship now, you know. It's like that friendship really did get built because of this podcast, because whatever. It's like it was one of the things when I was in college, everybody knew what our relationship was, you know. And I was like, yeah, my brother's my best friend. You know, he's an actor. You know, we're creative partners. We do everything together. He's going to be in all my fucking movies throughout my college career. And for the most part, that was true until our teacher literally told us we couldn't keep using the same actors. Like the only reason Dan was not actually in every single short film I made in college was because we had requirements to use students from the, theater program or whatever else. And we couldn't use like the same actors because she was like, it's bad for your portfolio, blah, blah. I get it. But yeah, I told them, I was like, if we could, I would put Dan in everything. I'd put him in every fucking movie we could. And so, they kind of knew that. But yeah, I mean, I think this podcast is like, it's not only a way for us to share our love of movies, but it's been a way for us to share our relationship with a lot of our good friends. And I think that that's something like, like Matt and Timothy, all these people that reach out to us all the time about it, like that they connect to. Like they say, like, I feel like I'm friends with you guys. And it's like, yeah, that's what we want.
Yes. Yeah. We've said it before. One of our favorite, it's our turn, by the way, to give y'all some love letters if you can't tell, but like we've said it before in the pod that one of our favorite compliments to get about the podcast is, yeah, it's like hanging out with my friends. It feels like I'm hanging out with my friends. That's what we want. That is.
And my second favorite compliment is when you guys tell us, I thought that movie was good until you told me it was bad. Now I know better.
And then my third favorite one is when you're like, dude, y'all sounded hot and sexy and fucking attractive. I really love
when you guys say like, I could barely hear you breathing.
And the fourth best is when you're like, dude, the sound quality is great. Like your editor is fantastic. Like the way that you remove all of you guys being out of breath is so fucking good.
Obviously, you guys do a really good job of editing because I can hardly ever hear the breathing.
But yeah, it's like that shit means the world to us because it is something that I've had like kind of a fear of how much of a digital footprint we're leaving. It's just a scary thing to do. It is vulnerable to put this much out there and for you to isolate a specific clip of me doing a bit and then taking it out of context. Like that so easily can be done. But all of our fans have gotten such an awesome grasp of what we're trying to do, which is we are trying to have fun talking about film. And why? Because we love film. We love movies. We love creating. We love doing all that stuff. So when when it comes through in that way and you guys get it, it is so awesome. It is so fulfilling. And it is also, it's like, you know, obviously me and it has opened up my friendship with Gabby so much because I've obviously known Gabby since we were teenagers, kind of like just like you were talking about with you and Timothy of just like how far y'all go back and stuff. Like I've known Gabby since we were fucking teenagers, and I have never talked about movies with her like this ever. And the podcast has been a catalyst for us to share our love of movies back and forth. We like, I'll pull up my TikTok messages right now. The amount of like trailers and news and movie news that she'll send me because she's excited about it and she wants me to be excited about it. And it's like this whole thing. It's a new layer of our friendship that I've never would have gotten uncovered if it wasn't for this podcast. So it's like super special.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. I get messages from so many people who will message me and be like, hey, I just saw this movie. Are you guys doing it for the pod? And I'll say yes or no or whatever. And they'll be like, okay, great. I can't wait to listen to it and see what you guys thought because I just saw it. And it's like, man, that means so much to me for people to be like, I just saw a movie and the first thing they want to know is what did we think about it?
Yeah.
Like that is like, wow. Like if we're making an impact on how people look at and view movies and think about movies. And like, I love that we're like infecting people's brains with this shit, like in such a positive way. Not in like, I think exactly what you said, not in terms of like, you know, the bit that we do about we're right and you're wrong kind of thing.
Yeah.
But just in terms of like, people are excited to talk about movies in different ways and they're excited to have that discourse and it has become fun for them the way it's been fun for us the whole time. So like when we're sharing that part of ourselves, it's just sharing our love of something, and for people to reciprocate that love, it means the world to us. Like, and we joke about canceling the pod. It's like, we will never fucking cancel this. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't, like it will exist in one way or the other forever.
Yeah. If we do one episode a year, we do one episode a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if there's something that forces us to fight. Yeah. So,
but yeah, it's like, and I've even had people message me recently, like, are you guys gonna go see this movie coming up in this time or whatever? And I fucking love that, man. I love people being excited to talk about movies with us. And I hope that you guys have had fun with this. I hope that you guys have, you know, changed your mind about how you felt about something. And I hope that you guys have disagreed with us. I hope that you have actually listened to our opinions and be like, I don't think that way, because that's exactly what we want. We want the discourse to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know, and for you to enjoy it the way that we enjoy it.
Yes,
these 100 episodes have been so much fun for us.
100%. And we're on the other side. You know, I remember, I can't wait till YMS releases a video on blank. You know, I can't wait to hear so-and-so's thoughts on this movie. It's like, I used to reach out for different creators and what they thought of certain movies. And it's weird to be on the other side now. And it's really cool. It's very, very cool. We're creating a community of people who enjoy just hanging out and discussing movies and having a good time while we do it, whether we liked the movie or not. You know, Timothy just said the lowest rated movie in Wild Dream history should have been a 4-hour episode. So, you know, it's like even when we see a movie that's so bad, it's like we're supposed to have fun talking about it, and we're supposed to laugh and share these memories with each other. So,
if there's one thing that I've learned throughout these 100 episodes, it's, you know, we used to say, like, especially early on in the pod, we were like, well, we liked this movie, so the episode's going to suck because it's not going to be funny. Or we, you know, hated this movie, so the episode's going to suck because we don't even want to talk about it. We're not even going to have fun doing it. And what I've learned is that no matter the quality of the movie, as soon as we sit down and start talking about it, it becomes fun.
Yes.
It immediately becomes fun, and we have a good time. The hours just fly by while we're doing this. And, you know, I think that is just a testament to what we've learned throughout this process of building this podcast and how we've changed things over time and gotten more comfortable with it. And a big part of that is you guys. If you got, you know, is wanting you to give you guys the best experience that we can.
Yes.
So we appreciate it all.
So thank you to every single one of you who still listens. Thank you to a special thank you, obviously, to the people who sent in those very sweet messages.
And those offers for the Semina stickers are 100%
those
legit.
are legit.
We will send you those.
Yes. Find that out. Send it to us on our Instagram or wherever you can reach out to us, and we will make sure to deliver on that promise. Also, I know that we took a pretty big gap because we were trying to plan out this episode with the insane month of May that is very busy for us. But we are going to have more regularly released episodes starting now. So
yeah, pretty much from here to the 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary. Golly.
Yeah, we're old.
So our 3rd year anniversary is coming up. Yeah, we've got too many movies coming out between now and then.
I'll tell y'all what, May 30th to June whenever is fucking packed with movies. So.
Little peek behind the curtain even, we have a trip planned next weekend and we have pre-recorded an episode.
Yes.
And I can tell you guys that because we joke about it in the episode.
That's true. Yeah.
So it is
we're coming back is all. Yeah.
We're back. We're better than ever. We were planning this one out for this specific and this fucking movie didn't get a wide release when it should have, and then the only place we could go see it was at Alamo Drafthouse, which you guys know we never fucking go to.
That's true. That was part of the reason that this was so delayed. So, but the point is we're back. We are going to have more regularly released weekly episodes. So we're so unbelievably fucking back. The masculine urge to say we're so back 20 minutes after saying it's so over. We are back.
And if you want to get even more of us, you can check us out on our social media. We are at Wild Dream Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Come check us out on Wild Dream Stream, at Wild Dream Stream on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. The Twitch is twitch.tv/Wild Dream Stream. I thought it was funny that Timothy said twitchtv.com, which is not correct. Twitch.tv/Wild Dream Stream. Tell all your friends. Tell everyone you know. Tell everyone you meet on the street.
Tell all your famous influencers that can blow us up. Not like that.
Or
unless
then the podcast will really
damn, yeah. But yes, we just want to be millionaires. So if you don't
we just
mind,
want to do this for a living.
I was about to say the actual answer is we just want to do this for a living.
I would actually do this for like a $3 an hour pay cut.
Yeah. Oh, dude, same
easily.
So,
but
help us out.
Thank you, everybody. We love you.
We also kiss you
for 100 episodes.
Here's 100 kisses.
And then loop that. And then loop that.
100 that.